Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, inshallah, we are starting lesson 6 in our Articulations and Characteristics program. This is part 1, and we start Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa bis-salah ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We are still in chapter 5, and we are in Makhraj al-Lisan, the tongue as an articulation area. Okay, and this is a reminder of what we have already taken and what we are going to take today and what we have left. Now, the tongue has 10 specific exits. We have the rare tongue where we have 2 exits, and we already took the qaf and the kaf, and then we have the middle tongue, which has 1 exit for 3 letters, jim, sheen, and ya. And today we are going to talk about the tongue edge, and it has 2 exits, 1 for the letter dad and 1 for the letter lam. And let's start. I just mentioned the letter dad, and you know something? This letter is unique. It does not exist in any of the other languages at all. And uniqueness, subhanallah, is one of Allah's creations. For example, each one of us is unique. Nobody is exactly the same as I am or you are. So uniqueness is sunnat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this land, on earth. And maybe I would like to say something regarding this uniqueness, because it became, we are used to this, so we actually don't see it. But when someone gets an identical twins, for example, and they say, yeah, subhanallah, they are identical, those 2 girls. And you know what? The miracle, the extra miracle, is that that each one is unique. But being identical is what we are not used to, and this is what really, takes our eyes. But uniqueness is the miracle, the great miracle. Just think of it. Nobody is like another on this earth, subhanallah. It's not just that. Even the eye print is unique, right? Now, the doors are opened by checking the eye print. We also have the voice print. Each one has a voice that is unique, different than the other. So subhanallah, we have a unique eye print, unique voice print, and also unique footprint. What about the fingerprints? It's been a very long time since they discovered that the fingerprint of each person is different than the other. The fingerprint of each finger is different than the other. Even the teeth, it's unique. And, subhanallah, we come to the letter dad. It is unique within all the languages in the world. Okay, so we are going to start talking a little bit about the letter dad. Let us see, because this program is concerned about the articulation area of the letters and also the characteristics. Now let's see our Imam. What did he say regarding the letter dad and lam? Okay, and I'll say it as I'm used to do. I'll say it in Arabic, and then we are going to read the translation. وَالضَّادُ من حافته إذ ولي الأضراس من أيسر أو يمناها. Again. والضاد من حافته إذ ولي الأضراس من أيسر أو يمناها. This is regarding the dad. And then واللام, the lamb, واللام أدناها لمنتهاها. What does this mean? It means that the dad occurs from both sides of the tongue edge against the upper parallel teeth, right or left side. Okay? While the lam occurs from the closest tongue edge end to the outer tongue edge against the opposite upper teeth gum of the incisors, the canines, and the premolars. Now we are going to take first the letter dad. So the dad occurs from both sides of the tongue edge against the upper parallel teeth, right or left side. Bit difficult, right? Now the dad, introducing the dad, is one of the first closed letters. It has itbaq. They are just 4 letters that has this itbaq, and the first one we're going to talk about is the letter dad. And let us explain more the articulation. Okay, I want you, when you are listening to this recording, you have a notebook, you have your pen, and get something to drink and enjoy the recording. Don't take it try to enjoy it, okay? Try to understand whatever you understand and then come back to it, and don't panic. If there's something you don't understand, don't panic. It should be easy, inshallah. And you know something else? Maybe there's just one little point that you don't get it, and if we just discuss it together, it's understood and everything opens, and lightens up, inshallah. So let's just have a quick look here. Because we are talking about the articulation area, this means the mouth, of course. Now, I want you first to have a look here at the teeth, okay? And this is the upper palate, okay? It's not the lower jaw, it's the upper jaw. And this is the tongue. And because I mentioned that this letter has itbaq, meaning that we are going to rise our tongue, the whole tongue, and we are going to set it here against the upper jaw, here against, the upper teeth, round, 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 round. So this is these colors, the purple, or let's say blue and yellow. This is where the tongue totally closes all the way around. Okay, you can see here, this is the tongue and this is the tongue edge. Okay, we are talking today about the tongue edge. These purple points are here. Okay, so the edge of the tongue is going to press here, right and left, both sides. And this part of the tongue is going to touch all around here. So as you can see, this is a touching point. Just the tongue is touching here, and this is a pressure point. Okay, this is pressure point, right and left, and here this is just a touching part. And we will know how and why. Here, same thing here, but this is a side diagram where the tongue touches, and because it's an elevated letter, and of course it's elevated because the whole of the tongue goes upwards and it closes all the way. This is a side profile. So this is where the sound is pronounced, from the sides of the tongue. Let's have another explanation here. Now, a question. Do the letters sharing the same character experience it in the same extent? What I mean is, for example, if we have the whistling character, does the sod, the whistle level in the sod, or the z, or the sin, is it alike exactly? No. No. What about the rakhawa? The dad has rakhawa, and the sad has rakhawa, and the sin has rakhawa. Is the length of the rakhawa, or the extent of the rakhawa, is exactly the same in all the letters that have this character? No. It's very easy to know that the answer is no. If we say as, if we say s, if we say as, if we say al, okay? Letter dhal, for example, al. So the length of rakhawa, the extent of rakhawa, differs from one letter to the other. What about the elevated letters? Same thing. The dad, the four letters of itbaq, the sad, dad, ta, dha, they are the most elevated letters because they have itbaq also, and the itbaq higher the level of the elevation, while the qaf, ghain, kha is different. The dad has this unique character which is called istitalah, stretching. It can be, it not can be, it is. The sound stretches in the makhraj. Let us see what happens. Let's move to this first and then we go back to the previous slide. What is stretching as a character? What is istitala? It's, now, concentrate a little bit with me because this is very delicate, okay? It's very delicate, and subhanallah, those delicate things that are said in the Tajweed, this is because, and this is a result of studying those delicate matters, is that everybody who is reading the Quran is reading it exactly in the same way. And thanks for our scholars that put the Tajweed science, because it did not exist before, as I mentioned earlier at the beginning of this program. Okay, so let us see what is istitala character that the dad is unique with. Remember the sheen, the letter sheen, it had tafashi, and just the letter sheen has this character, and now we are introduced to another character that is unique with the letter dad only. So what happens here? If the tongue rises, okay, and touches the above palate against the teeth all around, the tongue is touching all around, and then the air goes upward from here. And remember when I told you that the tip of the tongue is touching here and there is pressure here, but the tip of the tongue is touching, but it's not loose. It does not allow the sound to leak. outside. So what happens here is that the pressure of the sound and the air is coming this way, and then where the arrow is pointing, and then it just strikes a closed area. So what happens to the tip of the tongue? The tip of the tongue moves its place a little bit, so the articulation area stretches a little bit. Okay, if the tip of the tongue was here, and because of this pushing, okay, the tip of the tongue stretches a little bit more, but it does not open. So this is the sound we hear inside the mouth, where the sound of the letter Dod goes like this, and then it just stays inside the mouth, but you can hear it as a reader, and also if there's somebody beside you can also hear this buzzing sound inside of the letter Dod. Let's see what we have written here. It's the slight pushing of the tongue forward from the back to the front of the mouth until the tip of the tongue lightly touches the root area of the upper two incisors, which is the effect of the air pressing behind the tongue. So it was here, and then it just, pushes a little bit until it touches the root area of the upper two incisors. So we say L. Again, L. We are closing all the way, and the sound runs from back, forward, 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 and then it presses on the front part of the tongue. Okay, so it stretches the articulation area of this letter. So this is istitala. Istitala means that the makhraj had its area, and then because the air is pressing, it is stretched a little bit because the tip of the tongue changes its place because of this pressure. And this is the istitala, and the sound runs inside. And this is why, for example, we say the Dad has no qalqala. So if I say al-ard, what did I do? I did qalqala. Okay, this Dad is a sakin letter, harf sakin. So what do? I read it like this. Al-ard. Okay? Let's go back to this slide that I skipped. Why is the touching area important in the mechanism of pronouncing the letter Dad? Why is it important to know that this part is just a touching part? Let me go back, please. Here. This is the touching part I'm talking about. Why is this important? Why is this area important? Now, the tongue collides against the above palate, right? All of the tongue rises and collides against the above palate, and this is called itbaq. Itbaq means two things closes on each other. Now, is the air locked inside? Yes, it is, because the touching area does not leak the air or the sound. Do we stretch or blow the cheeks when we are pronouncing the letter Dad? Do we say, listen to the difference in the sound? This is the correct, inshallah, pronunciation. Al. If I stretch or blow the cheeks, it will sound like this. Al. Al. I hope you can realize the difference. By blowing the cheeks, I am giving more elevation to the letter, but this is not correct. Okay, where exactly is the pressure area? The pressure area is the two sides, as I mentioned before here. This is the pressure area here, the edges of the two edges of the tongue, the two side edges of the tongue. This is the pressure area, and this is the touching area. Okay. How come it sometimes sounds like a ta and sometimes like a dha? Yeah. If I press if the touching area, if I press on it and put pressure on it, it's going to sound like a ta. And if I get my tongue a little bit out, then it will sound like a dha. Okay, very slight differences, but it happens. How can a dal be heard? A dal can be heard if I do not put pressure on the sides, okay, and I just put pressure on the tip of the tongue without making it baq. We're going to have some examples regarding these pronunciations, okay? I'm going to stop the recording here. I'm going, inshallah, to continue the mistakes that occur when pronouncing the letters, knowing why they happen and how they can be corrected. I'll see you in part 2, inshallah, of this recording. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.